All right, about 90 seconds.
Okay, Joey. Ready to go.
And Dawn just arrived, so her yeah,
All right.
playing the national anthem, Star Spangled Banner, and then we'll be on the air.
Hey, Joe.
Hey,
Guess what I got for you?
coffee.
Coffee and donuts.
Nice.
You gotta get Danny on the air?
Yes, we're all set to go.
Good morning, Don.
Morning, Danny. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. How's the weather up there? Looks like it's a little chilly this morning.
Yeah, we got a little snow on the pumpkin this
We
morning.
got our first little amount of snow.
Just a dusting on the vehicles. About it though. How about you guys? You guys in the 60s?
Oh, we're, let's see, 66 here, and it's supposed to be mostly sunny today, and, yeah, no precipitation until Thursday, looks like.
That's good. Get your car fixed?
Highs in the upper 70s.
Is your vehicle back? All right.
30 seconds.
I wouldn't go too crazy with the Facebook thing.
I'm gonna try with it, and you know if it's a pain in the butt, yeah.
You got my mic on?
In a few seconds, yep. And it is Middleboro in review. I am Joey Driscoll. I am joined by Dawn, as always, here, and I'll say good morning to Dawn.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
How you?
Great. I'm doing fantastic. It is there's a little bit of snow on the vehicles this morning, Dawn.
A little dusted do you, right?
Yeah. Quick little weather real quick before we introduce our guest. We have a guest on the line. But a quick little weather really fast. In Taunton, it's 29 degrees and cloudy skies. It snowed a little bit yesterday, and it's going to snow possibly sometime during the day today or tonight. 38 degrees tonight for the high. Today for the high. 29 for the low tonight. And on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, nice and sunny skies. Temperatures between 37 and 42. In Middleboro, it is 30 degrees. Same weather there. That is going to be taking place for the next couple of days. In Driscoll, North Dakota, it is 11 degrees outside. Very cold. High of 25 today. And starting tomorrow, almost an entire week of possible snow in the forecast for Driscoll, North Dakota. And finally, we have Driscoll, Texas. And let me just get that up. I've been getting these up one by one here. Driscoll, Texas, their weather is currently 68 degrees and foggy skies, a high of 80 today. Tomorrow, 82 degrees and rain in the forecast. So that is your weather for today. And I want to say good morning to our guest, Danny Harmon. Good morning, Danny.
Good morning, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing great this morning. How are you this morning in Florida?
Very nice down here. I'm hearing you give all those frigid temperatures up there. I'm kind of envious of you. It's 66 here at my house in Tampa, and our high today is supposed to be 79. I actually had to mow the grass earlier today because my grass is just really tall. There's grass down here just never stops growing.
That seems like the way, I guess, when in Florida or whatnot. They'll put your mower away. I did my last cut about a month ago in November at our place.
Never put our lawnmowers away. I only have to mow about once a month.
Oh.
This time of the year, because it's really, it's shaggy, and I have to keep up with my neighbors who all have lawn services. So,
Yeah, yeah. They can get out of control. The pricing on the lawn, especially the landscaping up here in some of the bigger houses. Oh my God, the landscape is insane, insane.
have an army of guys at the house every week. Of course, in the middle of the summer, we're growing season here in Central Florida. We really have to cut our grass twice a week if you want to keep it neat. And I can't imagine what some of these folks pay for landscape services.
Oh, it's probably probably a normal cut right now. I mean, for a normal lawn, I don't know how big your lawn is, but just looking at the base of the backyard from in it and just trying to just picture what a front yard looks like in Florida, they'll probably hit you for $100 a cut. That so that's kind of a lot. Hey Danny, I want to ask you something because every time you start your video, you start it in your backyard and you're behind your proud display of signs there, your railroad signs. Any new ones on the fence?
Yeah, I just had a new sign from a fellow named David Milne out of Virginia, and it is let me see, I need to open my blinds here to look at it. I'm in my office here at the house. It's a Southern Railway maintenance limit sign. Apparently, Southern, I guess a lot of railroads did, they would put up a sign saying where their maintenance ended and the customer's maintenance began. And these were that. It's an oval sign, looks a lot like a football. It's shaped like a football, and it's about let's say it's about 14, 16 inches across. And I'm getting ready to put that up. But all these Southern Railway signs were and are heavy. They're thick gauge aluminum that they put these things on, and it takes a little bit of doing to hang these up on a fence.
Yeah, you have quite a few of them there. Be proud of them. Every time you start a video, I'm sure in your next video, I'm sure you got to point that out anyway because you're proud of your signage.
Send me signs and stuff. Of course, there's a lot of no trespassing signs out there. Lately, I've just gotten offers to send me a lot of these railway no trespassing signs. I'm kind of full up on those. What I really want are highway and signaling type signs and regulatory stuff. That's what I really like.
Yeah.
He's got for me, but it's too big to ship, so I got to go pick it up. So hopefully one of these days soon I'm going to get that. It's about a 5-foot long Atlantic coastline sign, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh, yeah, that whole back of the fence is gonna be loaded up with signs. So that's.
It's funny because it's not even 5 cents. My neighbor's fence.
Yeah. Well, I think in Florida they have to give the neighbor the good side of the fence. I thought that was always.
It was very nice when they put it up.
You know what? That's just common courtesy, and that's just unwritten law. It's not law up here, and but most of the people do it. I mean, they put the they give you the best side of the fence, and that's the best way to go. And every time I see people do it the other way, the fence seems to get blown down by a hurricane or something. It's like karma.
Florida is the vinyl fences, the white vinyl fences.
Oh, yeah.
And both sides are the good side on those. So
Yeah.
There's not a bad side or a good side. So that's kind of nice. I'm not a big fan of those because they're kind of bright.
Yeah, and you got to maintain them. You got to power wash them at least twice a year anyway, with all the algae that's floating. Yeah. Yeah. A power wash and some Simply Green, and you're good to go. But there goes your whole afternoon. Oh, it's just that's awesome. I did a couple of vinyl side cleanings of jobs I've done years ago on houses. It just see you later. It just nothing works better. And I put a little bit of believe it or not, I put a little pine sol in there too. Kind of mixed it around. Just kind of and it seemed to work. Just yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, I just don't want to get crazy mixing things up. But I threw some pine sol. Nothing's nothing's better than a little pine sol among friends, right? Joey, any questions?
So want to start off with the important question to rail in Florida, which is Brightline. Any new updates on Brightline over the past few months?
One thing I did learn about Brightline in the Cocoa Beach junction down there, where they branch off from the FEC and go west towards Orlando. If you can picture that geography in your mind, Cocoa Beach is over on the east coast, and then the line branches off to the west, and it goes to the Orlando airport. That's, of course, going to be the destination of Brightline. And, they're talking about bringing it to Tampa. There's been no groundbreaker or anything like that on it, but they're talking about bringing it to Tampa. But a friend of mine, rail fan Richard Rafalski out of Daytona Beach, he showed me some photographs that he took over the weekend. This past weekend was our winter meetup in Folkestone, Georgia, Winter Watch. And we had a little over 125 rail fans show up to this, and of all ages. We had a lot of young people for that. So that was nice. But at Winter Watch this past weekend, Richard Rafalski showed me pictures of a turnout, of an 80-mile-an-hour turnout that they put in down there. And this thing, it's hard to tell from a photograph, but it looked to me like it was the better part of a quarter of a mile long, from the switch points to the last frog in it. And it had the movable part of the switch was somewhere around 500 feet long. I mean, it was really just a crazy long switch. A lot of those control rods on it, and, I can't wait to get over there with the drone and get some real, close-up video of that thing. I just thought that was remarkable. But they intend to run trains through there at probably not 80 miles an hour, but even 60 miles an hour going through a turnout. For me, is just you just don't see that in Florida.
Done.
Yeah, on that front, been looking for any kind of date of opening up, and I haven't seen it. But to change subjects a little bit, there's been some projects. Well, one project opened up in Dulles Airport, the Silver Line over that opened up in November. So I think that was like a 12-mile stretch that opened up. So a lot of people, the internet's buzzing with all the people who've filmed that. I've been kind of studying that, and me and Joey had rewrote it back in 2014. We got as far as the last, I think it's Whaley something that was the last at the point, and now it goes all the way to Dulles and then some. But and then another thing up here in the Northeast that should be popping pretty soon. Hopefully, I thought December was the East Side Access, the tunnel from Long Island going to the new Grand Central Terminal. 8 new, yeah. So that's pretty exciting. That's been I've been working on that for 15 years anyway, and they're way over budget. And then you look at something like Brightline. The only reason I brought these up is because now Brightline's pretty much on schedule. I mean, you probably be hearing about that railroad opening probably within months. So what's that tell you about? Right.
West Palm and Orlando International Airport. They've already run test trains, and they are. I think the station is built. on that end. I don't believe there are any intermediate stations between Cocoa and Orlando. Orlando International.
There's really nothing there.
They're probably on track to get that thing open, not this year, but early 2023. And now that we've gotten through all this pandemic ridiculousness, I think that we're really on track to get that thing open soon.
Well, they've done it pretty quick, because another thing too I forgot to mention is we have our Green Line extension in Massachusetts. MBTA is opening actually tomorrow.
And our South Coast Rail, which will be opening at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah, next year. But it's just all these, other than the South Coast Rail, which has kind of been on schedule, all these projects have gone way over budget, way over time. And they worked during the pandemic, so I mean they really can't use that as an excuse. And a lot of times they were able to elevate a lot of their work faster because of the pandemic, because ridership was really low. So I mean,
in so many places. I mean, the poster child for over budget rail projects is that thing they're doing in California. That high speed rail, quote unquote, that they're doing out there in California. I don't think they've gotten much track put down in that. And that thing is way into the tens of billions. It was supposed to be, can't remember what the original budget figure for that was now, but it was somewhere in the teens, I thought. And at last check, it was like $80 billion.
and it didn't even cover LA. I think it was like Sacramento to Bakersfield or something like that. It was something like that.
Parameters on it, but it was supposed to be into San Francisco, I thought.
Okay.
And then they had to move it a couple of times because of issues they had with probably property owners and environmental issues. And
Yeah.
it's ultimately not going to serve the populations that it originally had intended to. But boy, those few people who will ride it will be able to get their cash.
Well, you think about property rights, and maybe they should have done their homework a little better before they went in and approached these people. There was a situation down in, I believe it's Plymouth or Wareham or Bourne. All right, there was a stretch of 495 that used to end at 195, and everyone had to get up to, like, I say 1986, 1987. Everyone had to get off and take like Route 6 through Buzzards Bay and then work their way to the Bourne Bridge and cross over. There was a stretch of highway. It was 10 miles. That got held up for 20 years because of one woman who would not sell her property at all. And she talk about the power of one person. Because you drive over, when you drive to the new sections and you look at the bridge stamps, it says 79, 70, 80 on some of those, right? And then I remember driving over that, like when I was younger, and that road was closed forever. And then you got other bridge stamps that say like 86, and it took them a long. And then that was just when they started, but they got to a point where they got up to this woman's property and they had like stopped construction, and that was delayed. I don't know, that was delayed, and then I guess they finally sold it, or the woman passed away, but. It's like folklore. It's just like he's one person who had such a, I don't know. She had held so much power. They just could not, their domain wouldn't work. I mean, back in New York, back in the 50s, who was that guy who just eminent domain anything? He put in the Cross Bronx Expressway. Then there was, I forgot the guy's name, but it was.
The guys who were visionary and said, we're going to have an expressway between here to there, and you're going to have to bring it through these downtown, through these urban areas.
Right.
And they did it through traditionally the poorest parts of those cities, because that's where the land was cheapest.
Right.
They did that, of course. Now there's a lot of expressways that have changed those neighborhoods forever and ruined a lot of them. It happened here in Tampa when I-275 and an I-4. They just cut that right through the West Tampa area, which was a traditional, Cuban American part of Tampa, and then they had Ybor City, which adjoins Tampa on the east, and they cut I-4 through that.
Right.
Again, poor sections of town.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
they back then they could just do it through eminent domain.
Right.
And
the people didn't. Right. All right, 275. I've driven 275 many times in Florida, and it's tight. It's very tight. It's a real corridor. It's a real urban corridor for sure.
Town, and then of course it turns north, and that's where I-4 connects to it right there. But they've expanded that. I think that thing is 6 lanes in each direction now.
Wow.
Over that period, and they're trying to add they are adding another lane on the north as 275 turns northward toward Wesley Chapel up there.
Wow.
From the downtown to Wesley Chapel, they're adding 2 more lanes on each side now, and it's just completely overcrowded now.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, just too many people moved in. That's why. You know what I mean? It's the whole. I mean, you want to invite everyone in, but you don't want to invite too many people in because now you're getting plugged up and sitting in traffic, and your quality of life is kind of as a Tampa resident all your life. I assume you were when I know. Right.
County, which is the county that immediately joins Hillsborough, the county that houses Tampa. The county to the north, Pasco, has got a suburban growth from east to west entirely across the State Road 54, 56 corridor, from Dade City in the east all the way across, like 22, 23 miles, all the way over to Newport Richey on the coast. And it's just crazy. Developers can build houses way faster than states and planners can build roads to get to them. So what you have ultimately is you have these massive developments that are often served by nothing but a 2-lane road that was meant for orange growers, just to get their trucks in and out of there. No cattle ranchers, and which Pasco County all was at one time, just recently, just cattle ranchers.
Well,
now it's just houses up there. I mean, the traffic coming in and out of Tampa and going east and west over there is it's just staggering how serious the traffic is. A place that 15 years ago was a completely rural area is now suburban sprawl up there. It's nice. A lot of people love it.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of folks who moved down here from the north, and they love it.
Well,
and somebody from California who's moved in here, who's used to driving an hour 15 minutes each way in rush hour traffic, that they come down here and they're only driving 35 minutes each way. They think that's nice.
Right. Yeah.
And we don't share their enthusiasm.
No, because you're not used to it. I remember US 19 running north from Toppin, and because I lived in Florida for a little bit when I was a kid, from 75 to 78. But my family's always lived down there, my sister and my mother, and I've gone down there every year and whatnot. But I mean, you go like, you run up to 19 north. Obviously, the Gulf is like half a mile to the left. I mean, for the west, and to the east, you drive 2 miles, and then you'd see it get rural. I remember back then, it'd just be the 19 corridor, and I remember flying up and looking, and I see the 19 lights that go all the way up, and it was nothing. It was, you had the ocean. I mean, the Gulf to the west, which was obviously black, and then you had everything to the right. And you see all the lights just kind of fade into nothing. So you're right about that. And it's just I remember that back in the '80s and '90s. There's a couple times I flew on a night and I was able to look out the window and I was like, yeah, that's 19. We're going up along the US 19 and it's just all lights.
They follow US 19 coming south, and then they'll usually go all the way south of Tampa and St. Petersburg, then do a U-turn to come north into Tampa International right there.
Yeah, 19 is their flashlight pretty much because
I think it is.
it's an arrow. Well, back then, I'm not sure now because of all the different lights popping up, but I mean, 19 back then, it was just like an arrow heading north. You were out of there, and you'd fall up to like maybe Wiki Wachi maybe, and then it just from there, a little south of then Crystal River is a little bit there, but north of Crystal River.
I think Crystal River is where they pick it up now. We were coming through from our trip to Ohio back in October. My son and I were flying, and then we were coming back south, and I said, Rob, what is that cut, that straight cut coming in from the Gulf right there? It wasn't a river. It was like a huge canal. And I couldn't place it because I didn't know exactly where we were. He said, that's Cross Florida Barge Canal.
Right.
I said, oh, that's Crystal River. Okay,
Yep.
okay. And it's a huge, just a giant cut coming in. It goes in 10 or 12 miles from the Gulf, and it's still there. That's the failed Cross Florida Barge Canal that never materialized. But that first cut from Crystal River is sure still there.
They rebuilt that bridge. Recently, and my mother lived in Crystal River. My mother had a place in Crystal River, and that's why I know that area real well. You got the power plant there, and then you got she lived on a canal, and she bought it. She actually lived in a town called Inglis, and Inglis bought it a town called and Yankeetown. Yep, and then Yankeetown. So I spent a lot of time there. But Joey, I think he's giving me hairy eyeball over there. We gotta take
I kind of have been. Yes, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Danny Harmon. Here on Middleboro in Review. Today is December 11th, 2022. You're listening to WVBF 1530 AM and 99.7 FM. We'll be right back.
I was just about to ask you guys are taking something to make some money here.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna take that commercial break now.
You do it.
And it's gonna be a little bit extended too. I'm gonna take that commercial break. It's gonna be a little bit extended. Gonna get all the important ones out of the way.
But you gotta do another one at the end, right?
If I get the important ones out of the way during this one, I don't really need to.
Don't you have to go by the log though?
Yeah,
go by the
I
log.
guess.
Yeah, just go by the log.
I mean, we're behind, so that's what I'm trying to do it a certain way.
You gotta get those breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could have a 5-hour talk show. If you ever make it up here, you're invited to the studio, Danny.
Yeah, I'd love to do that one of these days. I hope I can start traveling a little more now.
Yeah.
Things have loosened up.
Yeah, I got some good places you can rail fan too for the Northeast Corridor. There's a place called Reedville.
The Northeast is a place that I've been shy about going to because I don't know my way around up there at all.
Yeah.
I just don't know anything up there. And the last time I did it, which was 6 or 7 years ago, we went up, took auto trains into Lorton, and then drove up into Pennsylvania, Washington, and Pennsylvania, and that area up there. And I was still, I just didn't know any of the places to go. So with a guide, I think I would do a lot better.
Yeah, I got some hot spots for you. If you go on YouTube and type in Reedville Station, rail fanning, that's a train station. They don't stop trains on the Northeast Corridor, and they boogie through there.
Yeah. What's it called?
It's called Reedville Station, MBTA commuter road.
They go really fast.
Oh, they go through. You got the Amtrak sellers and even the commuter trains. And also Reedville Station's another, that's particular platform that they don't use, but they have 2 other platforms, so you get other train traffic from splits, and there's another one that's a shuttle. So it's pretty.
Spell that for me again. What's it called?
Reedville, like Reed, Readville, Reedville. It's in Hyde Park, Mass.
Okay, that's Massachusetts.
Yep, that's Boston. Yeah, Reedville.
Boston.
MBTA,
Yeah,
MBTA.
it's in Boston.
Yeah.
Okay, Reedville. Okay. I try to make notes anytime anybody gives me a hotspot or a tip on something. I try to make notes.
That's a good spot. Oh yeah, you can see the approach. It's and they go really fast through that section, really fast.
All right, so coming out of this commercial, we'll have about a 10-minute segment. So I'll give
All right.
one more question to Don, one more question to me.
Why don't you take the first question, Joey?
Yeah, one more question.
Maybe we'll talk about trains.
One more question. One more question for both of us, and then I'll take our 7:50 break, and then if you have to split at that point.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump out at 8 o'clock. So
yes. What am I doing here? Oh, 3, 2,
a couple of other things happening here. So
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll let you go at 7:50.
You are coming back on Super Bowl Sunday. That's been a tradition, right, Danny?
Oh yeah, that's right.
3 years in a row. We got to keep that going.
Yeah.
Let's see, that's February, right?
Yep.
I think that's the 14th or something like that. It's the second week of February right now.
It's getting later and later, huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Everything's getting later. We're celebrating Valentine's Day now, you know, because Christmas is over in the retail eyes.
I know. It's just crazy the way they keep changing stuff.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and 0. And we're back here on Middleboro in Review. I'm here with Dawn. I'm here with myself. And, okay, good. Music is over. And I'm back with Dawn and myself. And on the phone, we have Danny Harmon. Good morning, Danny. Good morning again. And so my question is, as we're towards the end of 2022 and getting into 2023, what has been some of the highlights of your year, and what are you planning to accomplish in 2023 for your YouTube channel, Distant Signal?
Yeah, my YouTube channel is youtube.com/distant signal. If you're a real fan, I hope you check it out. I've had I haven't done a lot of videos this year. I've only averaged one a month, but I've done some stuff that I thought was interesting. I did in early 22. I did the Amtrak thing and why they back into Tampa, and it was a video that I didn't really put a lot of thought into other than just a couple of days shooting, and I got such a reaction from that. It was really, really fun. I did 2 videos on Brightline. I did a how-to, kind of a Q&A on defect detectors. But the absolute highlight of the year so far has been the last video that I put up, Ohio, State of Big Railroading. We went to Fostoria, Deschler, we went to Toledo, we went to the other town, Bellevue, and just had Marion also. And I cannot wait to get back to Ohio. That is just the coolest state for rail fanning that there is. You've got a lot of railroading going in all different directions, and I just can't wait to get back there. And that's going to be one of my priority trips this year. I'm not sure when we're going to do it, but I'm definitely going back to Ohio.
Do you have any idea what you're going to be working on for the next video? Do you have any concepts of where you're going to be staying in Florida?
Viewers that ask me, do you know that's a GE? How do you know that's an EMD? How do you know what model number that is? And that's something I don't put a lot of thought into. Frankly, I'm not a locomotive guy. You know, I don't pay attention too much to paint. You know, foreign paint jobs and different models and you know, all the different little minutia that's involved in the different locomotives. And I'm not a counter. I don't count you know, I don't collect them like baseball cards. You know, the different locomotive numbers. But and that's what I'm having to get brushed up on. So right now I'm working on a video of telling the difference between EMD and GE locomotives, and so that's what my first video is going to be. Probably, I hope to get it done here in December, but it may be January 1st by the time I get it ready to go. We'll see.
Are you gonna do another one at Folkestone? Because actually, I think I've watched all your videos a couple times, and my two favorites is the by Dawn's Early Light, the Folkestone one. Oh, it's just I think I've watched that about 25, 30 times. That's my go-to. I go back to that. I just love how that was done. I just think that was the perfect video and the Foreign Power one was good too. But the Folkestone one, the reason I like that so much is because of, first of all, yeah, man, me and Joey and I have been to Folkestone twice, so we're seeing it. We're okay, and I love the idea of the town, you know, and you kind of say that it's a park inside, and you were the first one to find it as far as rail fanning videos, because after you found it, everyone else found it and did a video or whatnot, but you were the first, number one. Number two, I just like the idea, you have all that traffic and it's just like, one thing you said is like, every fisherman knows, and you got to get up early. And it's just your commentary and how you just said that, it was good. And now with your videos, you got, now you go to your favorite barbecue, or you go to your favorite seafood place. And I would really like to, it'd be nice to see another Folkestone thing. And maybe really talk more about the shortcut. What they call it, the shortcut, the Jessup short line. Because it's we've driven next to that, and it's I think those trains can really get pretty fast, because I'm not sure if there's too many grade crossings on that stretch. But
I haven't done. You don't see any video on the Jessup short line, which is the cutoff between Jessup and Folkestone there. It's because it's all tree lined. I mean, it's all pine forests.
Okay.
Up against there, and there's just no scenery. There's no scenic spots there. I mean, you can shoot at one crossing, and then you can go 20 miles up,
right,
and shoot at another crossing. It looks like the exact same place.
Okay, right.
Because it just doesn't look any different.
Right.
But you're right. The trains do just scream through there. I think Amtrak reaches its highest speed on the Jessup short line there, other than the Florida extension between Winter Haven and West Palm Beach. I think that's the fastest piece of Amtrak that's in the east, outside of the Northeast Corridor, of course. But I appreciate that you saying that about Folkestone, because I was up there this past weekend for Winter Watch, and I still am drawn to Folkestone because it's such a nice place to be, and such a nice place to watch trains. We still get a lot of train numbers. The numbers are still pretty high there, which is surprising in this age of precision scheduled railroad. But it was a pretty constant parade last weekend. So yeah, I could go back up there and do another video on that. But I don't want to keep hitting these same places. I get so many comments from people and questions. When are you going here? When are you coming out west?
Yeah,
so far, I haven't crossed the Mississippi.
Yeah, but
I haven't even gotten to the Mississippi, actually. So.
You know what? It was just a perfect video, in my opinion. And and that defect detector, which is south of Joey, give me the finger over there, 3 minutes, is the hairy eyeball. Mile marker, the defect detector at mile marker 611, is it? Is it? It's just it's down to the. I think that's the mile marker that's south, isn't it? 611, mile marker 611 or something like that. Isn't that 609 or something? Mile marker 6.
Change there, but yeah, the 611 is off it's right in between Waycross and Folkestone.
Right.
And Folkestone, of course, downtown Folkestone is 610.4. And
Okay.
604.4.
Okay,
and
right.
You've got the defect detector to the south, it's the 610.4.
That's what
and
I meant.
The DD to the north up on the Jessup Short Line, which is the 592.
Right. The one you always play, I think, on that video was the one south of Jessup. So, but that, I know what you're talking about, not repeating it, but I think if you made another video, it's just, I don't think it would be a repeat. It'd just be, because you said all the actions in the morning. So, I mean, the first, you started at 4:30 in the morning. The first train came in, and I mean, we went there in the middle of the afternoon too. There was nothing going on until like 3 o'clock. Yeah, I think you filmed. Well, you know what? You were staying at the the inn there, right next to it, the Chessie Caboose, or the one next to it. Yeah, yeah. That. Right. Oh yeah, I mean the economy's based around rail fanning, and that's you probably wouldn't have saw that 10 years ago. But Joey's, how you doing?
Yeah, so it's 7:50. I just want to so I want to say thank you for calling in today, and just real quick, give us ways to contact you, Danny.
The best way is to reach me by email, railfandanny@gmail.com. You can comment on my comment section on YouTube, but hit that email if you want to contact me there, railfandanny@gmail.com.
Hey Danny, can you stay on the phone for like 2 minutes after I want to ask you a couple questions off here. All right, thanks. Yep.
All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back here on Middleboro in review. The final 5 minutes, we'll deconstruct the Portugal versus Morocco game. I think we'll have a few minutes to talk about that. So we'll do that in just a moment. You're listening to Middleboro in review on WVB at 1530 AM and 99.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Hey Danny.
Yeah.
I took a ride. I did a train trip yesterday. They opened up a ski train with the MBTA. They're out to Wachusett from North Station. It's over near Fitchburg. And they just did all the signaling, and oh my God, this is the fastest I've ever been on this line. This line was always so slow, and we were cooking about 70 miles an hour and 80 miles an hour in some areas. It was really nice, yeah.
At the MBTA?
Yeah, it's the Fitchburg line running from North Station. It's about, I don't know, it's about a little over 50 miles. And there's a ski resort out there, and they're starting up a ski train. And they took all the seats out on one side, and they got like ski holders to hold the skis. And
that's cool.
yeah, and then there's a shuttle bus that takes you to Wachusett Mountain. But I think, but the town Fitchburg is kind of like a depressed town in a way. It's an old mill town, because it's all the mills and factories are out there, because you have all the waterfalls. It's where the elevation starts to creep up as far as elevation in Massachusetts, and but yeah, Fitchburg line. I mean, check that out too. It was a nice ride. It took all day. I was on the train all day yesterday.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about you, so I went for a train ride.
Thank you. I appreciate these tips.
Yeah, and like I said, if you come up, let me know. We'll me and Joe will pencil a couple days for you. We'll show you all the hot spots that we know.
Absolutely,
Yeah. Do it, and I'm gonna try to start to blocking out some weekends here, and I'll give you a call probably after the first of the year, and maybe we can set up something. I would love to get up there and just spend a couple of days.
And get you on the show too. Sunday mornings at 7, or
Yeah,
Joey has his show at.
Get you on the show.
He's got his Thursday show. It's 11 o'clock on Thursdays. So we'll get you live here in the studio. It's nothing beats being live. I mean, the phone's all right, but it's just nothing beats being live. And it's just so much smoother. It sounds so much better.
Yeah, so much better.
Yeah.
Totally better.
So, all right. Well, thank you. Be looking forward to. When do you think that video will be out? January?
I hope. My goal is to get it done this week, but I just don't know if it's going to happen.
Okay. Right.
And when you miss this week, and all of a sudden you're starting into Christmas and everything.
Yeah, I know.
Traveling a lot this year, so.
Right. Well, be safe in your traveling, and we'll contact you right end of January for the Super Bowl
Super Bowl
tradition.
Annual show.
Yes. Great.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
Thanks for your time.
Yep.
All right, see you guys later.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Are you all set? I gotta use the restroom. You don't need me this second.
You do. I don't. No. It's gonna be like a quick 3-minute talk about Portugal and Morocco. How crazy that game
Our
was.
base of operations is in the lower level of the parish hall on Oak Street, directly across the street from Sacred Heart Church in downtown Middleboro. At this time, we serve approximately 500 families in our service area, and many of them come to us for various types of aid. This can take many forms and include many of the following programs: utilities and rent assistance, agency referrals, clothing and furniture vouchers, and temporary lodging. For more information, go to svdbmiddleboro.org. May the good Lord bless you and keep you safe.
And we're back here on Middleboro in Review. We have 5 minutes to go here on the show. And we'll spend about 3 of those 5 minutes, or maybe 4 of those 5 minutes, talking about Portugal versus Morocco. That was a very interesting game. I had briefly talked about it with Barry yesterday. I voiced my concerns that Morocco was not starting Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know all the specifics of what the situation is going on with Ronaldo in Portugal, but I think that situation was a big reason, him not starting the game, him not starting the first half of Portugal versus Morocco, I think was a pretty big reason why Portugal is going home. And Morocco defeated Portugal yesterday 1-0. Ronaldo did play. However, he played in the second half, and Portugal was already down 1-0, and a lot of pressure was already on them, and they were not able to score the goal that they needed to extend the game any further than the 98th minute. There was about 8 minutes of extra time. There was a couple of great shots by Portugal that could have gone in, but some really good goaltending from Morocco led them to winning that game. And I had mentioned to Barry that I think them not starting Portugal not starting Cristiano Ronaldo would hurt Portugal, and I think it certainly did in this particular sense. I think that might be one of the reasons why Portugal lost that game. Not the only reason, of course. Morocco is a great team, and I believe they only let one goal through throughout this entire tournament so far. So they are a tough team either way. Even if Cristiano Ronaldo had started the game, it would have been a very difficult game for Portugal either way. But those are my thoughts there on the Portugal versus Morocco game. Very difficult game for sure for Portugal. Morocco moves on to the semis. They will face, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they face France in the final. In the semifinal. And then the winners of that game goes on to the final. Either it's France or Morocco, and on the other side it's Croatia and Argentina. We'll see what happens. I think those two games take place on Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday is the other one. But big disappointment for Portugal, and the fact of the matter is, I think them not starting Cristiano Ronaldo may have hurt them, and may have been one of the reasons that Portugal was hurt in that game pretty badly by Morocco scoring that one goal, and they weren't able to score the equalizer. So, that's my World Cup talk for this morning. Don, how are you?
Good. Can I talk about the ski train?
We only have 1 minute, so unfortunately I have to do the Today in Histories.
Okay.
But I was just talking about World Cup and Morocco versus Portugal. Very interesting game.
Right.
I'll just say that. And I voiced my opinion to Barry about Cristiano Ronaldo not starting that game. And it seems like
you made it home alive last night.
Yeah, it seems like my thoughts may have been accurate about that game. Unfortunately for Portugal, but I don't know what will happen out of that game and in 2026.
Looks like Croatia's hot.
Portugal will probably be back in 2026.
Yeah, Croatia's hot though. Are they still in?
Yes, they're in the semis. Yes. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I think we're heading towards a Croatia versus France World Cup final, but I'm not sure yet. England got knocked out.
You heard it here.
But anyway, our Today in Histories, real quick. 1816, Indiana becomes the 19th state. So happy birthday, Indiana. 1972, Apollo 17 becomes the sixth and final Apollo mission to land on the moon. 1978, the Lufthansa heist is committed by a group led by the Lucchese family, associate Jimmy Burke. It was the largest cash robbery ever committed on American soil at that time. 1990, several fatal collisions in the 1990 Interstate 75 fog disaster result in a total of 12 deaths and 42 being injured. And in 2019, the results of the 2019 Bougainvillean independence referendum are announced. The results are overwhelmingly one-sided. 98% of voters vote for Bougainville independence. Birthdays: 1882, Ferelio H. LaGuardia, American lawyer and politician, the 99th mayor of New York City. 1941, J. Frank Wilson. 1944, Michael Lang. 1944 as well, Brenda Lee. 1958, Nikki 6. And passings on this day, 1964, Sam Cooke. 2015, John Hot Rod Williams. And 2021, Annie Rice. Those are your birthdays, deaths, and today in history. It is 8:01. We're going to say goodbye. And we'll be back next week, the December 18th edition of Middleboro Review. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your Sunday and a great week. Bye-bye.
All right. Ugh. I gotta go. I'm fucking work tonight.
What?
Broadcasting live from the Taunton Federal Credit Union Studios at
You all wet. Please keep you all wet. It's just
AM 1530 WVBF.
Nice throwing me in.
No, I'm not.
WG59DD.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I am. I'm going to do a 3-minute news. Bye, everybody.